Hello, mayors. Hello, mayoresses. How are you all doing? I hope you're well. We're here to start another episode of this vanilla series, the fourth episode. And, well, we're here with a view of the downtown area. It's very busy. People are walking around, doing their shopping. So, how is your Christmas and New Year's? I think this video will probably be coming out in 2026. So, happy 2026 to everyone. May it be a year of lots of prosperity and health for all of us, all right? Well, I ask you to leave your like here at the beginning of the video. If you can high bar, please do. It really helps. Also, check your subscription. Who knows, maybe this will be the year Barbosa reaches 100,000 subscribers. I'm counting on your help. All right, okay? In the last episode, we built this road connection here, running along the coast to this new village, right? A new neighborhood here that's isolated. This series isn't about building cities, right? They're not separate. It's all one city, but they're isolated neighborhoods because it's an island, right? So here we have geographic factors isolating one neighborhood from another, like water and mountains. I can already see the beginning of a traffic jam here because of this traffic light. A lot of people here on bikes, they come off this bike lane, come over here and block the cars from passing. Anyway, it's crazy. I'm going to try to minimize this by doing the following. I'm going to try to create an alternative route over here. Look, maybe connecting to this avenue. This way, whoever wants to access this avenue up here can come this way. Whoever wants to go over there can use this road. And then this connection, I was thinking of starting it here. Wow, a lot of people are crossing, huh? Start and exit here and go up the mountain, right? We have to look at it in a way that matches reality too. For us to start here, look, this trail should already start going up from here. Look, let's go ahead and make this turn and figure out how we're going to make this crossing. The flattest part here, where there's a little dip right here. Look, it's over here, look. So maybe I'll bring this road up to here and then take it down this way. Let's see, maybe I'll make a tunnel because look, I'm really trying to go up little by little. But here, man, it's going to be complicated, huh? So maybe a tunnel really is a solution here. Look, let's see how it turns out. I made it. I made a tunnel. It didn't turn out bad at all. It would be cool if it made an overpass here, so I'm going to raise it up a bit. I think that's great. And then I start another tunnel here. Look, to bring this road to the other side of the mountain, see? Let's see how it turns out. Man, I'm surprised. These tunnels are actually turning out pretty good, right? And they're made without any mods. Look here and over there. See, it turned out well, right? It's almost like a Serra do Mar passage near São Paulo, right? Seems like it. Here we'll connect to this end of the highway, or rather, not really a highway. A little road here. Look, this will be a good spot to make this descent. Look at that, it's really smooth, right? A really gentle climb, really easy. I think this crossing will be very welcome, right? It could also give access to some neighborhoods here, including one on the mountain and a few houses. I think it would be really nice to avoid, congestion here, although the traffic here, look, is gone. But that's because we have a meeting point here between pedestrians, cyclists, and car traffic. So really, the demand there is very high. Here we're going to make a simple connection to the highway. Also coming out here, look, a connection going in, all right? Look, people are already using the new path. Maybe it would be interesting for me to also create a 3-lane asymmetrical road. Why? So here's what I do. Since here, right, there will be 1 lane going out and another continuing. I'm going to put 2 lanes here, look, and the same thing here, look. Since there will be a lane coming in, right here, it will become 2 lanes. I'm going to prohibit left turns. And man, if you've already come this far, you want to access this neighborhood, right? You don't want to access this part of the city. Because if you were here, you would just take the avenue, right? You don't need to go all the way around down here, so there's absolutely no need for anyone here to turn left. That's why I'm blocking it. So we're agreed, right? I'll remove these trees in the middle to clear the view, right? I'll leave the ones on the side for now. Many people ask, Barbosa, how do you remove all the trees like this all at once? Man, you come here. Any tree, you go to the tools, select place several, and then you disable this snap, right? It will be enabled, you disable it. Increase the brush strength, set it to 100%, choose the size you want, and then, look, you right-click here on top, and it will remove them all. Okay, like this. Every now and then, someone asks about it. Let me see. Now here, I think we can handle the people from this route with a roundabout. A simple roundabout should work well, I think. Well, that's it. Second route added here, an alternative. I don't know if we can make some little streets here. Let's see. And then we can already try to meet this low-density residential demand with some houses on the mountain. Look, it's flat here. I think there would be a street and I'll add alleys, okay? That's the problem, right? It's connecting the street above with the street below without having too many ramps, right? For example, if I build a street here, see, it will create a big wall because it's so steep. Right. I think this is a bit too much, right? That's why I'm being careful. I know there are streets worse than this around the world, but it's not the kind of thing I like. Maybe here. Look, it's better. Well, let's keep going. Let's see how this settlement turns out. I'm going to say something, okay? It's really fun to make this mountainous part because it's turning out really organic. Look, isn't it? Some really natural little roads. Man, wow, it's so cool that it's turning out well. I don't think we can do more than this here, okay? Yeah, I've already climbed quite a bit up here, which is really high. It's very high, and over here it won't work because it's too steep, right? That's a big slope. We can probably build a subdivision here, right? Great. Well, and what style of house should I choose to put here? Should I stick with this style here or not? If I go with the beach style but make it European, would that be a good style? Well, I'll add one here to see how it looks. If it's good, I'll do it again. Oh, I didn't show you guys, did I? But in the last episode, for this one, I also put these piers here. Look, so people can access this as a leisure area. And the crossing here to the other side is being used, right? This one with the tunnel here is actually really good, and it's also making traffic easier. It's light traffic. It's not heavy. It's pretty smooth. Awesome. Look, right here on this curve in the road, we could put a ruin, right? Like a tourist attraction. There's the castle ruin, but I think there's already one of those on the map here. Look, I didn't want duplicate things, and that location is much cooler than here. So, here it could be the ruin of a mill, a cemetery ruin, a stone monument. I'm undecided between the cemetery and the stone monument. Let's see how this would look here. Come here, look, it looks cool, huh? And it would be something really rustic. Nothing with too much structure. We could make some paths around here if you wanted to access the monument here, made by the native people of the island, and the house that grew here. Man, I'm not really a fan of these walls, okay? I think they make the land look pretty weird. I wish there was a little house here without a wall, and I don't even know if there will be, actually. Someone just rode by on a motorcycle making a lot of noise on my street, but I'm going to divide the land into lots. So I think with this Californian style, we can see how it turns out. And I'm making these little lots here, look, 2 by 2, so there won't be huge houses and the land won't get too deformed, right? There's a problem with the industries, isn't there? Here we're going to have some air pollution, although there's not really a stain around here. But this problem does exist. I think, man, I'm actually going to have to remove this industry from here. Maybe this will increase unemployment. We're at 2.5% unemployment, right? Very low. So I think we can afford to remove this industrial zoning from here at least. Man, up to here, like more or less. And then, right? We even replace it somewhere else because here it really was a pretty temporary setup. Now that we've made this one, right? We can afford to remove this zoning. Maybe it will even improve the noise pollution issue here for these residences. And we can make another small industrial park in the future. Hey guys, look how it turned out here, right? It looks awesome. This Californian style zoning, I thought it matched well here with the mountain. And, well, I think now there are just a few small adjustments left that actually you don't even need to make. But they bother me. For example, I don't like it when trees or any kind of vegetation grow where there's rock, you know? Where there's rock, the right thing is not to have it. So I end up removing it. Of course, I'll let one or another slide, but wherever possible. Here, look, I remove it. I remove it too. I don't just like removing trees, I also like planting them. So I already come in with this landscaping here, look, also in these empty spaces. And sometimes between lots. And I think this kind of care in the end makes all the difference. And the trees here, right, besides their role in thermal circulation, also have the role of holding the soil with their roots and preventing, right? It helps prevent landslides. So trees are really important in the context of hills, especially when building on more uneven terrain. We even place some random rocks here. You can't really put them too close to each other, right? Because we're not using an Archies mod. I'll put it here. Well, I think that's it. I think we made really good use of the space here. Our layout looks great. And seen from above, it's pleasing to the eye, and seen like this from below, right? From the side going along the highway, it's also really nice for us to have something here, right? And, well, we need to provide access, right? For pedestrians on this planned bike path, which doesn't exist yet, and I can't forget, right? Because otherwise, the bike path stops making sense. So there's an access point here, look, and we need to have another one. If the game lets me do it. Does it let me here? No, it doesn't. No, so that's it, guys, it's done. Let's reuse this space left by the industries. Man, it's still pretty polluted, right? Soil pollution, yeah. Let's wait a bit. Well, guys, you can see that I left the graphics here on medium. And how much frames per second are we getting, right? And also how much we're using the processor and the graphics card. The only thing is that it's really good. It's 45 frames per second here. That's great for me. The only thing that's bothering me is this temperature here, 91 degrees. Man, on the central processing unit, right? I'll check the processor, but isn't that high for just over 30% usage? I even have a water cooler. Is that normal? If anyone who knows more can comment, I'd appreciate it. But anyway, commercial demand and low-density residential demand are really high. So I'm going to work on expanding our borders here and start thinking about something here. Man, 100,000 in maintenance per month. Do we have that? We do. So I'm going to start using these spaces. There's a fire here. We're having problems with the hearse, trash. The trash is already here with its facility full. So we're going to have to start thinking about expanding our landfill, right? I'm not going to spend 2/3 of my cash on an incinerator yet for now. Let's go. I'm going to expand this highway here because, man, my intention is to have it come down to the foot of this hill and pass along this side. We're between two highways, and also use it to make it easier to transport the oil we're going to extract from here, since we have a lot of oil here, all along this coast. It's going to be very complicated because this coast here has a mountain, there's a hill. So we're going to have to work with a road that's kind of squeezed in here, maybe a landfill. Anyway, but the intention is for all this access to be done through this highway here. So I'm going to extend it all the way here. And here we'll still have space to expand this neighborhood, which is a neighborhood that will be very close to this entrance to the oil company. And it can also supply this oil industry with workers, with labor. There's also a highway here. I'm going to extend it as well, and I think everything in the end will end up coming together here. Well, from here you can already start exploring for oil. So I think I'm going to build an avenue to mark off this oil area. So from here, we already know that an oil sector is going to start. So this area can still be part of the city. I'll start with a landfill here, which should be fairly simple. I'm also going to extend this street down here. I don't have many plans for it. I'm going to remove this one because I'm going to expand the landfill area here. So I can align a new street here, a boundary street for the landfill. I want to complete the blocks down here, and here I'm expanding the neighborhood, and I'm working up to here. Kind of mirrored here on the other side. And this avenue is going to fit perfectly right here because it will serve as an access to this side of the neighborhood, and it will fit perfectly here with the bay. So we'll have the bay clearly marked here with the avenue running alongside it. And since everything here is still the same neighborhood, I'll keep going here as well. More or less the same pattern here that was already established before. With the street layout, well, and based on the pattern of our avenue here, which will separate the residential area from the oil area, it will have to be a little more to the right. It was here, a little more this way, so we can repeat this block pattern that we used over here, but that's fine as well. And then this avenue will have access to this highway that comes from the intersection here. Anyway, I think that in the future I might even make a connection over here, but for now, that's it. Now I just need to build this subdivision in the lower area near the water, and I'll do it just like I did it here on this side where we don't have a street running right along the shoreline, right next to the coast. I think that with these cul-de-sacs facing the water, it gives more of a village feel. That's my intention. I'll keep going here with the streets and alleys, both horizontally and vertically. And then you end up with a part of the neighborhood that's kind of incomplete. This avenue here, we could also extend it. We don't have this part over here, and I don't even know if it's worth buying just for him. I'll leave it too, right? We're already doing well financially. We can afford it here. Maybe we could even make a little beach here, a sandbank. Let's invest, remove these trees. I'll get the sand surface. And here, look, I'm going to start drawing where we're going to have the sandbank here in a very regular, very natural way here. And then this sand can come all the way to the back here because this is a really shallow area, right? So, no problem. Let's see how it turns out when I finish here. Oh, it looks good, huh? It looks good. I even think we can extend this strip of sand over here. Look, make another little beach here. I'm going to remove these houses from here and relocate this clinic and move this fire station. And we can start thinking of this as a real beach in the sense of leisure. I'll do it here too. Look, this sand texturing, and there you go. Look, another new beach created here. I'm going to start dividing lots so we can add more detail to the beach. When there's already a lot of stuff around here, then it gets cool. Well, I think it's better to start with the commercial demand. We have it here, and I'm going to place it. I think here, look, on this street, facing Talharia Beach, having some businesses here too, right? I'm going to put it over here on this avenue here too. So this can be commercial and here too. Look, on this whole avenue all the way down here. And then for the rest, right? You can put businesses here on these corners. So businesses on this corner, here on this corner, and here on this one. All right, I think that's well covered, right? Commercially speaking. And now we're going to the houses. This one, which, man, while it's growing over there, I'll take a look at this issue. The ambulances, it's about storing ambulances. We have 2 clinics here that, man, to me, they're good. I think they would meet the demand. They could handle it, right? Or is it because, our budget is limited, right? About the assistance system, right? It's not much, 90. But I'll make it 100 and see what happens. I think we could have a cemetery here because we know how things work afterwards, right? Yeah, the availability of the healthcare system is good, but it's at its limit. And the cemetery, man, the cemetery is still fine. I don't think there's a need for another one yet. I'm going to put another clinic here to serve the people from the mountain. So I think it would be good to have a clinic around here. We've already gained some leeway in the availability of medical assistance. Here on this beach, what's the system going to be? Some paths so people can walk around here or stroll around, right? Although, I think it's going to be a little difficult, but at least we'll have done our part, right? I'm going to outline this path according to our strip of sand, so it's like a mini boardwalk, a little boardwalk. Then, here, I'm going to make some paths connecting to the shore, right? Mainly coming out from the crosswalks here at the intersections. And that's how the paths turned out. Here, I don't know if I should use a different color, maybe with a tile. Let's see how it turns out. I'm going to improve this beach access. It's the same color as the sand, so you could leave it as is. Look, people are walking here. I said no one would be there, which actually makes me more excited to make it look nice. Then I'm going to put in some piers. Maybe I can put a small one right here, just to see how it looks, right? Not here on the beach. And I think one here, look, here I could even put a bigger one. Coming out of this avenue opening. All right, now all that's missing is vegetation. And the vegetation here will be as follows. Tall trees close to the roads here. Look how cool it's turning out, right? And then medium-sized trees. More here, look in the middle. Then smaller little trees right here. Look close to the sand. See, Barbosa, you were talking bad about your citizens, saying they wouldn't use the beach. They're already using it, man. This here is to create kind of a grass effect, right? Even though it's not, it's just to try to make it look a bit similar here, see? Here, on this part over here, I think we can put some little stones. There's not even any sand. I think we can add it. Here, right, on this sandbank. Here we can even add a little detail of a gazebo right in the middle. I think it would look nice. And on the sand, we add the sand landscaping, right? Are these foxtail palms here, these palm trees? I'm not exactly sure which one to use. I think this one would be good, or maybe this one. So I'll just put them here. Look, just to give it a coastal charm, right? It snows in winter on our island, but not in the city. It does snow in the mountains, though. All right, look how it turned out. Let's take a walk around here. And look at our little island here, which is a park now, right? And our waterfront, how cute it turned out, right? It really looks like a small town here. It's almost like a resort here, and it turned out awesome. There are houses here, and residents live in a peaceful area. Look at the big garden you have at your disposal, right? All that's missing here is a little pool. But anyway, speaking of enjoying, I installed just one mod, which won't change our game at all. Actually, it's just so we can see things here in first person. Because, man, I think you have to at least have this mod. Which leads us to come to the conclusion that it was a mod that should have been native to the game, right? Who doesn't want to be able to walk like this, you know? And walk around your city that you build? Everyone does. In fact, it was something they implemented in Cities Skylines 1 in the PlayStation and Xbox console versions. You can walk around your city natively. That's really cool. They never did that again. So it was a mod that should have been native. And that's it. That's our walk along the waterfront, right? Mayor here with you, my citizens, my councilmen, my secretaries, my deputies, with a very pleasant, very beautiful beach here. It's a bay, right? I'm gonna finish up the bike lane issue here. The bike lane ends here. I'll continue down here and we'll start to define the neighborhood issue here, right? I think we've already identified at least 3 neighborhoods here in the city. I don't know about you, but for me, this here is a neighborhood. By the way, we can suggest names in this episode, right? The main one, which is our center, the first settlement actually, can also have a name suggested by you. And here, this mountain. For me, it characterizes another neighborhood because it's very different from what we have so far. So for me, it's also another neighborhood. We have 3 neighborhoods there, and he even named it here Primrose Junction. A junction, and it really is a junction here between both sides. Here we have 1,113 residents at the junction, 208. And here, man, 12,800. So it's really the densest part, right? There's nothing like what you've already seen. Man, I can't believe it. Bicycle traffic, man. Bicycle traffic. I saw this notification from afar and I said, there's a problem at the end of the little road. When I got closer, it's bicycle traffic, man. All piled up. Really? In fact, I didn't even know this could happen. Really, people are using bicycles a lot around here. The main problem is that everyone leaves from here, right? They take this lane and then they end up having to cross the roads here, and that's where the problem happens, right? There's also this traffic light that makes things even harder. I've never seen anything like this before. It's wild. Honestly, I have no idea how to fix it. If you have suggestions, please comment. Speaking of bicycles, I also need to put a bike parking area here on this other side, right? We don't have a spot here. It's close to the beach. I think it'll be good to have one here. All right. It's a city that uses bicycles a lot, right? Can we check the statistics here to see how much they're being used? You could do that in City Zoom, right? Some squares were missing, weren't they? There aren't many here, so I'll add some. Well, people are using bicycles a lot, right? We can also reduce our dependence on cars even more by setting up a little bus system here. The city is still pretty small, right? 15,000 inhabitants. It doesn't need to be very complex, but it's enough to get things started. We don't have space here to build the garage, but look, it could work here. Or since the structure is already an avenue, you could build a garage right here. I said I was going to expand this landfill, right? It's already completely full. The notification even disappeared because of the processing, right? We have an upgrade here that increases the processing rate. Even so, it's good to expand it a bit because the city has grown too, right? So take it up to this corner here. All right, that's it here. Man, it can't be. Look at this again. Same thing as the last episode. Oh no, this isn't waiting for the funeral car. Then I check our cemetery. We have 7 vehicles. How many are in use? 1. Seriously? Makes me think about having a terminal. A small bus terminal here, look, right in the city center, about here, see? So we can create some routes, use this municipal one here, which is a little bigger, and leave this small one here in this neighborhood. It's a smaller city with fewer residents. So maybe here, look, it would be good for us to have this little terminal here, near the beach, near the shops, close to everything. And the first line could already go from one terminal to the other. So there could be a bus leaving from here. One of the platforms, there are 3. And coming here, look, here there are 6 platforms, right? And it comes straight. It comes through here, along the little road, goes around the coast. I'll leave it on this path anyway. The only thing is, maybe it won't be express. I'm adding some stops to the shortest route, so we'll leave from here with stops along the way. There could be a stop right here, then here on this avenue. No, I think we can have a stop here. To serve the factories, I'll put a stop here. This is a highway, right? People will have to get off on it, but highway stops are common. And after this, I'll put a stop here, right? For the people who live here, in this direction, it's fine. And there has to be another stop over here because the concentration of houses here is actually much higher than over there. And there's a tourist spot here, whether you like it or not. So stop here and then here, right? We're already entering the city. So I think we can still add 1 or 2 more stops here before actually reaching the terminal. All right, now we just need to add the stops to the route. We have this line here going from one side to the other. Maybe I'll even make a circular route in here, connecting everything to help people get around the neighborhood, and here a circular route as well. I don't even know if it's necessary since it's so small, right? But here, for sure, I'll make a circular route. This bigger neighborhood and our buses, right, will already leave from their garage. How many buses are on the route? 6. That's a good number, right? To start with, then we'll adapt, see what works best later. We have the ability, look, to put electric buses. I think that's really interesting. The maintenance cost will be $14,000. I'll add it. And there's also an additional garage for 10 more vehicles in the future if needed. Well, and the inaugural trip has already happened, right? We'll leave here from the terminal with everyone. Look how many bikes there are. Let's try our best so we don't end up depending on cars. And it's a good thing I signed up here. Look, for our first-person mode. Look at the beach view. Look at this view. A worker who gets to work with a view like this, I think they'll even work happier, thinking about taking a swim after work. Look, there's a clinic, there's a bike parking lot. Man, I think people here are living really well. The bus can't get through due to all the bikes, just like motorcycles in Sao Paulo. Guys just pop up right next to you, you have to wait, and it's an endless line. There are already people at the bus stop here, and up ahead, the bike lane starts again. That's a problem I see. Bus stops and bike lanes, they can't coexist together here in the game. And then the cyclist has to go into the car lane so that up ahead he can return. And the bus stop too, it's really long, right? And it takes up almost 100 meters of the street. I think it's kind of weird. Well, he's already gone out to the avenue. It's a commercial avenue. There he's going to get on the highway, a roundabout. Everything is very well wooded, right? Even though we have heavy industry and we're going to have a petrochemical plant, right? It's all very nice to walk around, isn't it? It's well wooded, so that reduces the negative and aggressive impacts of the industry. When we pay attention to that, right? Despite everything, it turned out to be a really nice neighborhood. And here we are on the little road that runs along the sea, right? On the coast here by the shore, and we can already see people walking along it and also biking. It's the island of cycling. Cycling in a good way, right? The mayor here has nothing to do with it. Well, with that, I'm going to end the video here. If you want to see the rest of the route, stick around, I'll let it play. I want to thank our council members very much who are always here supporting us. They are a pillar. I want to thank our secretaries who watch the video in advance and also see the raw version without cuts, without editing. And also our vice mayors here on the island who deserve to be thanked by name. So thank you very much to Giovanni Freitas. Thank you also to Jose Fernandez, to Nagal, to Pedro Mendes, and to Rafa. And thank you very much to you who are not a member but are here liking, hyping, subscribed, sharing, commenting. Man, you are amazing. You are sensational for making it to the end of this video. We're always together. A big hug, and see you next time. See you.